I've got the Urban Decay Vice 4 palette for holiday of 2015 to share with you guys today. And I actually purchased mine off the Urban Decay website for $60. And then it is also available on the Sephora website. I could have actually probably got it faster if I would have ordered on Sephora, because this kind of took a long time to get here. Anyway, this is the outside box packaging, and I think it's really cool. It's kind of got that oil slick type of vibe to it. It's cool. And then the palette itself comes in a bag that mirrors both the box packaging and also the palette packaging, and this fits nicely and slides in and out very nicely. And then here is the actual palette, and like when I first saw pictures of this, the packaging just got me. I love the oil slick vibe, and it just looks cool. There is a layer piece over the top part of the palette, like you can actually push on the plastic here. Like if you can see right there, and it's a piece that's over the top of there, which is, it's really cool. This palette is about the same thickness as last year's Vice 3 palette. It's thinner than like the older Vice 1 and Vice 2s. And then this actual one doesn't have that little spring action that props the lid nicely open. You just have to open it up, and then it lays itself open like that. And there's a great big mirror in there too if you guys like to use mirrors in your palette. And it does come with the standard Urban Decay double-ended brush that they usually include. The blender on this one is dual fiber on one end, and then it's like a flat shader on the other. And it does say Urban Decay Vice on here. And then inside you have got 20 eyeshadows, and each eyeshadow is 0.03 ounces a piece. And it does say on the box that these are 20 never before seen shades of eyeshadow. However, a lot of the shades look kind of familiar to me. Like they all look like shades that I have seen in Urban Decay somewhere in the past. I did do a demo with these eyeshadows, which is on my eyes right now, which will be towards the end of the video if you're interested in seeing how these performed for me for the first time. I did use 5 of the shades. I used matte shades from the crease upwards because I don't have the best luck with Urban Decay matte eyeshadows, so I really wanted to see if this was any different or if they'd improved for me or not. I used Delete, which is a matte brown, in the crease, and I blended it out with Bitter and Framed underneath the brow bone. And these matte shades were no different for me from previous experiences with Urban Decay's matte palette eyeshadows. They're a really thin, dusty texture. Like the matte shades kicked up a lot of product in there. So I'm not a big fan of the mattes. However, there are only 4 mattes in here, so I do think that's good considering I'm not the biggest fan of the Urban Decay matte shadow formula. And that is Framed, Discreet, Bitter, and then Delete over here, which I'll get up close and give you guys swatches and all that as well. I did use 1985 on the center part of the lid and Harlow on the inner portion of the lid area, and both of those are really nice. I didn't actually have any fallout, maybe just a tiny bit of flecks of Delete, but I mean they were very, very minimal. Otherwise I didn't have any fallout. This palette is really pretty, and I'm glad to have it in my Urban Decay Vice palette collection. However, the shades don't feel very new to me coming from Urban Decay, even though it says that they're new shades. But it is pretty. There are some chunky glitter shades, which I'll get into that more when I zoom in on the palette, but the mattes I'm just not a fan of. So here is the front cover of the palette. I think it's really cool. And then there is the back. And then here are the shades inside. You've got Bones, Grip, Deadbeat, Beatdown, Pandemonium, Framed, which is a matte, Fastball, 1985, Underhand, Harlow, Discreet, which is a matte, Grasshopper, C-Note, Arctic, Robbery, Bitter, which is a matte, Flame, Low, Crowbar, and Delete. Starting on the left side. And then on to this next row. This shade, Grip, has got some little tiny shimmers in it, but that feels like a matte shade, so I think it's going to perform like the matte shades do. So there's that row. This color is really pretty. This one, it's got a chunkier texture to it, but it's smoother than the other ones I'm going to show you in a minute. And then this next row. This guy here, this shade Low, is chunky, and it kicks up quite a bit of like product just even by swatching it with my finger. I feel like I'm going to get a lot of fallout with that guy. This one is kind of like Flame, where it's got a lot of metallicness to it, but it's not as chunky as Low. Then this next one, Crowbar is quite chunky as well. Oh, that color, and that color, and that color. These all look really pretty. I just feel like this one's going to have some fallout in it because it's got a little bit of a chunky feel to it. And then the last row. And then here is a shot of the new Vice palette over here, and then the Vice Limited. That one that was so fun to get in the lime green packaging. Right there. And then here's a shot of the Vice 4 over here, and then with the lime green. That is the Vice 3 that came out last year. The one that looks like that. Right there. Hopefully that was helpful for you guys. With the exception of the mattes, I do like the colors in here. This low shade is the chunk. Low and Crowbar are pretty much the chunkiest shades in there. Flame is borderline. It's more like a metallic though, and so is Pandemonium. I like all the colors except for like the matte ones. This grip shade feels like these mattes, really thin in texture. Anyway, now if you're interested in seeing the look that's on my eyes and how these eyeshadows perform for me upon first use, you can hang tight and we will get into it right now. I've already primed my eyes from the lash line to up underneath the brow with the NYX eyeshadow bases, and I mix number 1 and number 3 together. And on a Goss 18 brush, I'm going to go into the shade Harlow, which is a shimmering purple, light purple color. I'm going to put this in the front of the lid. And then using the same brush, I'm going to go into the shade 1985. And I'm going to put that on the center of the lid and blend it into that Harlow. On a Chikuhodo GSN 9 brush, I'm going to go into the shade Delete, which is a matte dark brown. I'm going to do mattes from here on out because I do have trouble with Urban Decay mattes, so I'm going to see how they blend. I'm going to put this out here and through the crease in my good old upward V shape. On a Chikuhodo T7 brush, I'm going to go into the shade Bitter, which is right here, which is also a matte shade. And I'm going to start blending out the Delete color with that. And hope for the best. I don't know about it. Before I finish that blend, I'm going to go into the shade Framed, which is also a matte color. It's like a cream flesh tone color. And I'm going to put this underneath the brow. I'm really hoping these don't go patchy, because that's just not going to be cool. Then on a Tom Ford number 13 brush, I'm going to go back into the shade Bitter and further blend this. I feel like I have to really keep going in there to pick up the product. the more I try to blend these two together, I can see a little bit of patchiness coming on, so I'm not too happy with it right up in here. So here's the eyeshadow done. I did really have to build and blend those mattes through here to get it to look sort of blended. I'm not fully happy with it, but I'll probably cut a portion of the blending out for time's sake. But I'm going to go ahead and finish up my eye makeup, and I'll be right back to put on some lips for you guys. For the lips, I've got Charlotte Tilbury's Lip Cheat in the shade Pink Venus. I'm going to go ahead and line my lips with this and slightly bring it in. The lipstick that I'm going to pair that with is one of the Urban Decay, these are the original, the Revolution lipsticks in the shade Streak, which looks like that. So there is the finished look using the new Urban Decay Vice 4 palette. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.